So you got your lab results back, and everything says normal. Congrats! You're officially average. But here's the thing nobody tells you normal and healthy are not the same thing. Not even close. Think about it. Those normal ranges? They were built by averaging the results of mostly sick people. It's like saying, well, everyone in this hospital has a fever, so 101 degrees must be fine. The system was designed to catch disease, not prevent it. You can be sitting pretty inside those normal ranges while your arteries are quietly building plaque like it's going out of style. That's where functional medicine comes in. We don't just ask, are you sick? We ask, are you actually healthy? There's a huge difference. And spoiler alert, your standard yearly physical probably isn't telling you the whole story. The basic lipid panel you get on your yearly physical, it's been the same since the 1960s. That's like still using a flip phone to navigate. You're missing the good stuff, particle counts, genetic risks, inflammation markers, all the things that actually matter. Most people think cholesterol is simple. Total cholesterol, HDL, the good stuff. LDL, the bad stuff. Done. But that's like saying a car is just metal. There's way more going on under the hood. Here's the real deal. Cholesterol doesn't just float around in your blood like it owns the place. It's hydrophobic, which is a fancy way of saying it hates water. So your body wraps it up in special delivery vehicles called lipoproteins. Think of them like little shipping containers carrying cargo through your bloodstream. Now, HDL and LDL are not inherently good or bad because of the cholesterol they carry. It's literally the same cholesterol. The difference is the wrapper and what job it does. LDL particles, they're wrapped in something called ApoB, which is sticky. Really sticky. Like gets trapped in your artery walls and causes inflammation sticky if you have too many LDL particles. That's why we call it the bad guy. Every cell in the human body makes its own cholesterol, which is essential to maintain the structural integrity of the cell wall, as well as the production of hormones and many other functions. If a cell makes too much cholesterol, the cell pushes it out, and the excess cholesterol is picked up by an HDL molecule and transported back to the liver for either repurposing or disposal. If the cells aren't making enough cholesterol, the LDL molecule provides a delivery service from the liver, which produces cholesterol to the cell that needs more. So we have a very efficient cholesterol transport system working constantly. It's when this system gets out of sync that can lead to what is called dyslipidemia. HDL particles wear ApoA1 like a fancy coat. It's not sticky at all. Instead, it cleans up the mess, picks up excess cholesterol, and hauls it back to your liver for recycling. The good guy. But wait, there's more. You might have high HDL cholesterol and think you're golden. Here's the plot twist. We don't actually have a test to see if your HDL cholesterol is doing its job properly. So you could have high HDL cholesterol and still not have the heart protection you think you do. Awkward. And if you've got both high HDL cholesterol and high LDL cholesterol, don't get too comfortable. That high HDL cholesterol doesn't cancel out the damage the high LDL cholesterol can do. It's not a get-out-of-jail-free card. Then there are the troublemakers, VLDL and IDL, the triglyceride haulers that leave chaos in their wake. And then there's lipoprotein A, the problem child. It's like an LDL particle that decided to glue itself to an extra sticky protein. This makes it 6 times more dangerous than a regular LDL particle. The good news? There aren't as many of them floating around. The bad news? If you got a lot, they can wreak havoc over time. Here's something wild. LPA is genetic. 1 in 5 people have elevated levels, but only 1 to 3% of the population has ever been tested for it. If you've got high LPA, your arteries are in serious danger. And the best part? You only need to test for it once in your entire life, just once if the result comes back within the functional range. Get this biomarker checked if you haven't already. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Small, dense LDL particles, we call them SDLDL, are like ninjas. They slip into your artery walls and cause way more damage than they should. And your triglyceride to HDL ratio, that's one of the fastest ways to spot insulin resistance before your blood sugar even gets flagged. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine 2 bowls. Each one has exactly 100 milligrams of LDL cholesterol. Bowl 1, that 100 milligrams is bundled into 5 big fluffy particles. Think grapefruits. Bowl 2, same 100 milligrams-ish, but it's broken down into 3,000 tiny particles. Think raisins. On paper, They're identical, same amount of cholesterol, but in reality, totally different story. Those big grapefruit particles? They mostly float through your bloodstream without squeezing into your artery walls. They're too bulky, like trying to fit a beach ball through a keyhole. The raisins? They're tiny. They slip right through that delicate lining in your arteries, get into the walls, spark inflammation, and start building plaque. That's how atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, or ASCVD, begins. So it's not just how much LDL you have, it's what form it's in. A few grapefruits are way friendlier to your arteries than thousands of raisins, even if the scale says they weigh the same. Here's a truth: the standard lipid panel is incomplete. It's been the same since the 1960s, and it's missing critical information. It's like judging a book by its cover. You get a little information, but you're missing all the good stuff inside. The real game changer: particle analysis. This shows you not only how much cholesterol is floating around, but how many particles are carrying it, what size the particles are, and which ones are most likely to cause trouble. Think of it like this. For smokers, you measure risk in pack years. How many packs a day for how many years? For your heart, you can think in particle years. How many dangerous particles for how long? The more exposure, the more likely you'll develop cardiovascular disease. And despite what some people claim, cholesterol matters. Without cholesterol particles inside your artery walls, atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease doesn't happen. Period. That's why measuring ApoB is so powerful. It gives you a direct count of how many dangerous plaque-promoting particles are in your blood. LDL, VLDL, lipoprotein A, they all count. If you can't get an ApoB test, you can estimate it by subtracting your HDL from your total cholesterol. That gives you non-HDL cholesterol, which is a pretty good approximation of your real risk. We also check lipoprotein A, which is genetic and basically can't be changed with diet or exercise. About 1 in 5 people have elevated LPA, but almost nobody gets tested. If yours is high, your arteries are in a lot more danger. LPA is associated with one specific disease called calcific aortic stenosis. It causes a condition where your aorta basically turns to stone. You'll want a lipidologist on your team. Other markers matter too. High sensitivity CRP is like a smoke alarm for inflammation in your arteries. Homocysteine is a sulfur-based amino acid that quietly irritates your arteries when it's elevated. Fasting insulin and hemoglobin A1C tell you if too much sugar is fueling plaque buildup. Your triglyceride to HDL ratio gives you a quick snapshot of your metabolic health. And LPPLA2 helps identify inflammation happening specifically inside your artery walls. Here's the functional medicine difference. Normal isn't the goal. Optimal is. LDL particle count, we want it under 935 nanomoles per liter, not the 1300 that most labs say is fine. HSCRP, below 1.0 milligram per deciliter, not just under 3.0 milligrams per deciliter. Triglycerides below 80 milligrams per deciliter, not just under 150 milligrams per deciliter. These numbers might seem small, but over years and decades, they're the difference between open healthy arteries and needing a stent. And trust me, you'd rather have the open arteries. So get the advanced testing. See if your cholesterol is a harmless fruit bowl or a raisin invasion. Because when it comes to your heart, you deserve to know the whole story, not just the normal one.